Hello boys, very good morning, very cold morning, chilly morning. And this is a season where we have a temperature of about 17 degrees. It's very chilly and it's very pleasant. Usually this is the temperature we experience in the hill stations like Kottaykanal and Kodaikanal. So take care and have a good season ahead and keep yourself safe from the cough and any cold things that you come across, because you know very well there is talk about a new virus strain, so don't fear about it. And because it is just another variant, the vaccine that has come out, it's just a very good one, and it creates immune response from the body. So whatever the virus strain is, you don't have to worry about it. It's going to get cured, so we have a good time ahead. So let's begin this sweet morning with some session on reading and writing, because that is what we have been concentrating upon. Here it is. The end of the lesson will teach you how to interpret charts, graphs, maps, and they will be always used to press to describe them. Okay, what is a chart? But before that, what is a chart and what is a graph? Usually, the graphs, that we have seen is a representation of two-dimensional objects. Okay, what is a two-dimension? If you have a line like this, it is just a one dimension. Okay, if you are able to use two axes like this one, you're able to describe two things in two dimensions, two parameters, like this one and this one. I'm not able to draw very clearly. So then, if you call this as x and this as y, it may be anything in the context of telling the people to understand it. For example, if you have, I often tell my students, suppose if this is the stage, this is the stage. Okay, you have a classroom and you have a stage here, and here you have a blackboard, right? I'm just putting the blackboard there. Blackboard is here. Okay, this is a blackboard and this is the stage, and it's view from above. So here are your benches, and here you sit here. Okay, here are your benches there. Now it is from the top view. Suppose if you go to the ceiling and view from there, you will see this like this. Okay, now what I am going to tell you is, how will you describe where your teacher spends the time? Suppose if you have a table here, I may describe the table here like this, and a chair here like this, and the teacher is standing here, okay, right before the board, and is trying to explain. Now you got two dimensions, in which the teacher moves. Here is x, and here this one is this is x-axis. Okay, so if he comes like this, if the teacher moves like this, you call it as the x-axis, and here you have something called as y. So if the teacher moves like this, you just present it by means of the y-axis. Okay, now what my point will be, how will you describe that one in 1 hour, how the teacher stands before you? For example, you can describe a single dot by means of 5 minutes. Okay, for the first 5 minutes, the teacher sits here. Okay, and the next 5 minutes, the teacher gets up, comes to this place, and then he goes to the right side, and then he goes to there, and then he goes there, spends this time here, writing around the board, around the board, around the board, around the board. 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17, and then 18, then 19 and 20. So for 20 into 5 minutes, I'm just taking 100 minutes, I'm just taking. Okay, so each circle will represent the 20 minutes, and each circle will represent, sorry, 5 minutes. Each circle will represent 5 minutes. So this is just 5 minutes of time that is spending. And this graphs has got about 20 such small circles, that is containing to about 100 minutes. So you will see that the teacher is capable of moving across the classroom. So he does not go here, or he doesn't go here, and he doesn't go here, and even it doesn't spend here. So his movement is like this only. And in short, you can describe this by means of some linear curve like this. Okay, and here like this. Okay, it goes out of the class like this. So this will be the exit like this. Okay, so now you are able to represent in terms of the graphs and how the teacher is spending. Actually, it is a stage and it's only a two-dimensional one. Two-dimensional because it is represented only in terms of x and y axis. So this you will call it as a graph. This graph shows how much time the teacher spends. There might be teacher who will just sit here and keep on talking and reading there. So the entire 100 minutes you can spend here to explain the thing of this. There may be a teacher who can come out here like this and enter the span entire 100 minutes in front of this. Or there may be a teacher who doesn't come here at all. He goes down the stage and mixes with the students like this. So you can have another graph, and here there is no representation at all. So graph represents the best portion of some coordinates. What is a coordinate? This is a coordinate. Okay, this is a coordinate. So coordinator means if somebody is there who is running a program, and we call it as a coordinator because everyone coordinates with him, the chief guest, the guest, and the speaker, and the students, and the volunteers, etc. So for everyone he is having contact, so he coordinates. Therefore this is coordinating with this. So you can have a graph like this. In fact, if you stand up like this and move one of your hand here like this and another hand like this, if somebody pulls your hand in this direction and another hand in this direction, you will be moving in this direction because he pulls here and he pulls here. So you neither move in this direction nor move in this direction. The result is this one. ஒரு ஆள் இப்படி பிடிச்சி இழுக்கிறாங்க இந்த சைடில், இன்னொரு ஆள் உங்களுக்கு வந்து இப்படி பிடிச்சி இழுக்கிறாங்க. நீங்கள் இங்கே நிற்கிறீங்க அப்படின்னா இந்த பக்கமும் போக மாட்டீங்க, இந்த பக்கமும் போக மாட்டீங்க, நடுவில் இந்த பக்கம் போவீங்க இல்லையா? That means, if we take up some path, ஏதாவது ஒரு பாத் நாங்கள் போகிறோம் அப்படின்னா என்ன அர்த்தம்னா இதுக்கு ஆப்போசிட்டாக ரெண்டு ஃபோர்ஸ் இருக்குது அப்படின்னு கிராஃபில் ரெப்ரசென்ட் பண்ணலாம். ஒரு ஃபோர்ஸ் வந்து இந்த பக்கம் இழுக்குது, இன்னொரு ஃபோர்ஸுக்கு இந்த பக்கம் இழுக்குது. புரியுதா? இந்த பக்கமும் போகலை, இந்த பக்கமும் போகலை. ரிசல்ட் என்ன ஆகுது? நடுவில் போகிறார் அவர். ஸோ ஏதாவது ஒரு பாத்தில் போனால் கூட யூ கேன் டிஸ்கிரைப் திஸ் பர்டிகுலர் பாத் பை மீன்ஸ் ஆஃப் this coordinate and this coordinate. That is the beauty of the graphs there. Okay, suppose if you have a container like this. So suppose if you have a container like this, so it is filled with water. I'm just filling it with water. Okay, I'm just filling it with water, and there is I am putting a hole here like this, right? So when you put a hole here, the water is getting drained up from this direction. So a force is getting existing in this particular downward direction. When all the water particles will move towards this hole, the water will seem to be rotating in the clockwise direction like this. மேலேருந்து பார்த்தா வாட்டர் சுற்றி இருக்கும், இப்படி சுற்றிட்டு இருக்கும். ஏன்னா இது கீழே தண்ணி லீக் ஆகுது, ஆக ஆக இப்படி சுற்றும். So water will revolve in the clockwise or anti-clockwise direction. That means, you have a solar system like this. Okay, if you have a solar system, in the center you have sun. Okay, this sun is there, and the earth is here, our blue planet, beautiful blue planet is here. Okay, it keeps on moving like this. So when the earth moves in this particular direction, like this, like this, like this, like this, that means it is just like moving in this direction. So to move in this direction, there should be some force downwards. ஏதாவது ஒரு ஃபோர்ஸ் டவுன்வர்ட்ஸ் இருக்கணும். அப்போ எர்த் இப்படி மூவ் ஆகுதுன்னா கூட ஒரு ஃபோர்ஸ் ஏதோ கீழே ஆக்ட் பண்ணுது. இந்த ஃபோர்ஸ் தான் வந்து சன்னுடைய கிராவிட்டி. Okay, this is called as the space time fabric. Okay, ஸோ ஏதாவது கீழே இப்படி பிடிச்சி இழுத்துருக்கிறதுனால தான் இது வந்து பூமி சுற்றிட்டே இருக்குது. இங்கே சுத்தம் அப்படியே சுற்றிட்டே இருந்துட்டு என்ன ஆகும்னா ஒரு நாள் வந்து அப்படியே போயிட்டு இது you can have a reason to fall inside this. That is how it is. So இப்படி இது சுற்றிக்கிட்டே வந்து கீழே முடிஞ்சிருமோ அந்த மாதிரி கருத்து கூட முடிஞ்சிடும். So the graphs, are beautiful representation of something that is happening there in a simple picture. Usually, if you are going to do some research, people usually look into the graph first. That is, the science persons, they look into the graph. If your graph is capable of explaining the entire process that you have taken in the context of in a particular experiment, then it's good. If they don't understand the graph, they'll ask you to repeat the experiment. So it's all about the data, the kind of data that can be represented by graphs and charts are further information and graphs, pie charts, etc. Let's brainstorm to arrive at the words commonly used when talking about such data. What are the words that we use commonly? It's possible that these words are in textbooks or in a classroom, the board as well. So he is going to the cricket scores first, and it talks about the trends in sales. Trend, what is it by a trend? This, if you have something like this, it's called as upward trend. If it goes like this, it is called as a downward trend. இப்போ என்ன ட்ரெண்ட் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸில் என்ன நாங்கள் ஒரு ஜீன்ஸ் போட்டு கிழிச்ச ஜீன்ஸ் பேண்ட் போடுறது தான் ட்ரெண்டு இப்போ அந்த மாதிரி அர்த்தம். So then existing green cover is, and this is decreasing and increasing, and then change in the green cover. Green cover is the forest area. Then marginal rise. Marginalனா நல்லா தெரியுற மாதிரி, ஸ்மூத் கிடையாது, ஸ்டீப் ட்ராப், நல்லா கர்வ் இப்படி இப்படி வந்துக்கிட்டே இருக்கும், திடீர்னு வந்து ஃபுல்லாக ட்ராப் ஆகிட்டு இப்போ இப்படி இப்படி போகும். It's called a steep drop. And it remains steady. These are the words that are being used. So then change the trend, and this is quite similar to this one. Okay, trend in sales, both are the same almost, and go up a little is the next, and fluctuate. Fluctuation na மேலே போகும் கீழே வரும், மேலே போகும் கீழே வரும், and then the fluctuation. This is called the fluctuation in graph. That is what you see in the ECG. Okay, so here let us come to the task one. The task one graph, the 5 graphs are depicted in the run rate of the Indian cricket team. So it is about cricket team, and he used to play cricket also, but ever since there was this betting, it's like a gambling there in the cricket. So I don't just to show some interest there, but here they are showing it, so I have to just tell you what it is. Match the graphs with the sentences that best describes them. So here he is asking you to okay, so the run rate fluctuated through the match. Which one is that? Run rate fluctuated throughout the match. Okay, here this one run rate வந்து 5.1 ஆகுது, and then 4.1 ஆகுது, then 6.1 ஆகுது, அப்படி போயிட்டே இருக்குது. மேலே போகுது கீழே வருது, மேலே போகுது கீழே வருது, மேலே போகுது கீழே வருது, மேலே போகுது கீழே வருது. ஸோ இது நம்பர் 1க்கு சம்பந்தமாக இருக்கும். Okay, that will be equivalent to the number 1, that is a graph. Okay, and then the next thing is that he is asking you to, I would rather bring this here. Just a minute, I'll just make a correction because every time. So I think it is clear now. Here you can see that this run rate, the fluctuation of this is number 1. The run rate is fluctuating throughout the match. It belongs to this one. Okay, now next one is that the run rate was very low in the beginning, and it rose sharply and then remained steady. Beginning very low, rose sharply. இது லோவாக இருந்துட்டு then remains steady. எதில் இருக்கு? Very low அப்படின்னா இது வருது, A வருதா B வருதா? It's very low and they began very badly, improved marginally, and suddenly it undergoes tremendous improvement. Very low in the beginning, but it rose too sharply and remained steady. Yeah, in the graph, this 2 is this one. The run rate was very low and in the beginning, but it rose sharply. Low in the top, sharp, then it goes, it rises up there. Okay, and then the third one is this one. They began very badly and improved marginally and suddenly showed tremendous improvement. They began very badly and improved marginally and suddenly showed tremendous improvement. Sudden tremendous improvement. Showed tremendous improvement. So okay, the run rate was a bit poor in the first few words, then it showed sharp rise before falling. So இது ஏக்கு match ஆகுது. This fourth one, I know is matching for this one. You can just go like that. Okay, if you don't find any proper graph there. So I think he's properly not mentioned it. The run rate was a bit poor in the first few hours. Poor in the run rate, and then it showed a sharp rise before falling. இங்கே தான் இருக்கு. புவரா இருக்கு, ஷார்ப் ரைஸா இருக்குது, அப்புறம் ஃபால் ஆகுது. Okay, so that represents this one. And then let us go to the next one there and then find out what is this. They began with a high run rate and soon run rate showed sharp fall and remained bad for a few hours. After this, it rose sharply. So this one I think will be, fifth one will be moving to this one. High run rate, sharp fall. நல்ல high run rate வருது, sharp fall ஆகுது. This is falling. Okay. And then sharp fall and remained bad for a few hours. அதே மாதிரி கொஞ்சம் few hours bad இருந்தது. After that it rose sharply. அப்போ ரெண்டாவதுக்கு மூணாவதுக்கு they began very badly, improved margin and suddenly showed tremendous improvement. This graph should be something like this. Now the third one I am going to just show a different graph here. It is not matching there. Began very badly. Badly na இப்போ வந்து the x-axis is time and the y-axis, I'm sorry, just you can just take up the reverse. Y-axis, x-axis le I can just take up. Okay, this as run rate. Run rate வந்து ஃபர்ஸ்ட்ல புவரா இருக்குன்னா அப்படியே கொஞ்சம் ஸ்லோவா இப்படி போவோம். புவரா இருந்துட்டே போயிட்டு அப்புறம் வந்து என்ன ஆகுது, the first few hours and then it showed a sharp rise. ஷார்ப் ரைஸ் அப்படியே ஷார்ப்னா நல்லா ஷார்ப் இந்த மாதிரி இடத்துல வரும். ஷார்ப் ரைஸ் அண்ட் தென் பிஃபோர் ஃபாலிங் மறுபடியும் வந்து இது போயிடுச்சு அப்படி. Okay, and that was, I think that we have already done. So we have to go only for the second one. I think second one is also over, third one is also over. Fourth one, third one, they began improved marginally, suddenly showed tremendous improvement. They began very badly, இப்படி improved marginally and suddenly showed tremendous improvement. இதுதான் மூணாவது கிராஃப் வரணும். Okay, but here graph is not matching, so I don't think now they are having a very good matching there. So you can just take up the few run rate. Please turn your task to 2. If you have done this, again you can just we can draw separate graphs also for that. So I'll have my own graph here. Let's see what is for the first one. The run rates fluctuated through the match. So your x-axis is time ஆக ஆக run rate வந்து ஃபர்ஸ்ட்ல ஏறிடுச்சு, அப்புறம் கம்மியாயிடுச்சு, அப்புறம் ஏறிடுச்சு, அப்புறம் கம்மியாயிடுச்சு, அப்புறம் ஏறிடுச்சு, கம்மியாயிடுச்சு, அப்புறம் ஏறிடுச்சு, அப்புறம் ஸ்டடீஸ் கம்மியாயிடுச்சு. Okay, it's keep fluctuation, ப்ராப்பரா இல்லை. Okay, this is for the first one. And for the second one, the run rate was low in the beginning. Run rate was very low, so that is low. So here it is. As the time 5 minutes, 10 minutes to 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, very low in it, but it rose very sharply. 6th hour நல்லா sharp rise ஆயிடுச்சு, and then remained steady, அப்படியே steady இருந்துச்சு. Okay, that is right. Then we have this third graph. In the third, they began very badly. Badly usually, you know, it's not at all a run rate at all. So you can just show a lower trend like this, and then slowly marginal na கொஞ்சம் தெரிகிற மாதிரி தான். Sharply na direct எப்படி போகும், இப்படி போகல, அது இப்படி marginally அப்படியே rise ஆகி then suddenly showed tremendous improvement. அப்படியே improvement ஆகிட்டு அப்படியே steady போடல, but you can just put it like that. And then the fourth graph, the run rate was a bit poor in the first few hours. So it was a poor, maybe not at all increasing. And then it showed a sharp rise like this and before it falling. அப்போ நம்ம இப்படி ரைஸ் ஆகிட்டு இப்படியே ஃபால் ஆகிடுச்சு. The run rate was falling like this. Okay, so the fifth graph should be like this. They began with a high run rate. ஏற்கனவே run rate high இருந்தது, but soon the run rate showed a sharp fall. நல்லா அப்படியே ஷார்ப்பாக டிக்ரீஸ் ஆகிட்டு and then remained bad for a few hours. Bad and after this it rose sharply. மறுபடியும் இப்படி ஷார்ப்பாக இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆகிடுச்சு. Okay, and if it remains steady, you can just put it like that. So this direction, this direction, every direction of this, it represents the time. And this, in this way, if you raise the peak, it represents the run rate. Suppose if you have run rate as starting from 0 here, you can have 5, you can have 10. 5 runs per hour, 10 runs per hour, like that. Okay. So you have to, by looking at the graph, you have to write it. And in fact, what happens is, this particular graph, it is small, it represents, it represents 50 overs. 50 overs it represents, right? So 50 hours வந்து ரொம்ப ஷார்ட்டா ஏதோ எழுதாம அப்படியே நீங்க just you can best writing the by time versus run rate போட்டு graph x y axis போட்டு நீங்க ஷார்ட் போட்டீங்கன்னா you are able to explain the entire match that runs throughout the day for about 8 hours. 8 hours 50 hours நடக்கிறது வந்து நீங்க சும்மா ஷார்ப்பா கிராஃப்ல அப்படியே போட்டு போடலாம். அப்புறம் நீங்க வந்து ஒவ்வொரு பாயிண்ட் நீங்க எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணலாம். எந்த ஓவர்ல எப்படி ஆச்சு, யார் அவுட் ஆனாங்க, டபிள்யூ போட்டு விக்கெட், இங்கே சிக்ஸ் போட்டா சிக்ஸர், இங்கே ஃபோர் போட்டா ஃபோர், இங்கே டபிள்யூ போட்டா விக்கெட், இங்கே ஆர் போட்டா ரன் ரேட்டு, ரன் அவுட்டு, ஆர்ஓ போட்டு, அந்த மாதிரி போயினே இருக்கலாம். ஸோ கிராஃப் இஸ் அ வெரி பெஸ்ட் representation of these things. So we shall see the second text in our next session and try doing something with the run rates, and you always see that every commentator who represents looks through the graph and is able to talk many minutes based on that particular graph. So you should be able to tell about that. So I think we have had a very good beginning of the last unit of this particular session on reading and writing. Have a good time. Thank you for joining me. See you soon.